Now I'm making this video because I want to explain why Freddie might have thought his Indian Chief Bobber Dark Horse was out of fuel when it actually wasn't. If you saw Freddie Dobbs' last video where he reviewed the Indian Chief Bobber Dark Horse, you'll see that he believed he ran out of fuel with the fuel gauge showing 12 miles of range still to go. I'm going to explain why that's not the case and a little quirk with the Indian Chief that can catch you out. Now, I'm not dissing Freddie. I love Freddie. I love his videos. Freddie is completely off the hook here because the symptoms do appear as if the bike is out of fuel. But Indian Motorcycle do cover this in the owner's manual. And I know Freddie wouldn't have got an owner's manual with the bike when he got delivered for a review. And this is something else too I think we should talk about is when companies like motorcycle manufacturers drop off a bike for review, to be reviewed, especially for a 2-week review, I think they really should go over the bike with the reviewer and explain the little quirks and idiosyncrasies that every bike has. No bike is perfect. Give the reviewer a better chance of nailing the details, if you like. But that's probably a topic for another video and another conversation. Let's get to the bike and I'll explain what happened. Now, when you let your Chief get really low on fuel, as Freddie did, and you park it on a side stand, there's no center stand, so that's the only way you can park it. What happens is the pickup for the fuel pump is on this side of the tank. So if there's not much fuel in the tank, the fuel that is in the tank is going to settle over this side. Because as you can see, the bike is on quite an angle when it's on its side stand. So the small amount of fuel you have left in the tank is sitting in the bottom on this side of the tank. And if you hit the power button while the bike's on its side stand and you have low fuel, the fuel pump will try to prime from this side of the tank and the pickup is high and dry out of the fuel. So you want to go for a ride, you come over to your bike, you power it on, and as it's powering on you hear the fuel pump prime, or trying to prime, and then you hit the start button and all you hear is jig, 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 because the fuel pump's not getting any fuel. Now in the owner's manual, Indian Motorcycle recommend that you stand the bike upright before you power it on. This gets the fuel to its correct position for the fuel pump to pick up the fuel, and also for the fuel gauge to get an accurate reading of exactly what's in the tank. So if your Chief is really low on fuel, you should always pick it up off the side stand, stand it upright, then hit the power button, which will then prime the fuel pump and you'll be able to start and ride and go get fuel. Now in Freddie's previous video to the last Indian Chief Bobber Dark Horse video, where he did run out of fuel or thought he'd run out of fuel, you'll notice that it wouldn't start when it was on the side stand, but it was showing 12 miles of range left, and I believe that was accurate. And you'll also notice that once he stood it upright and turned it over for a little bit for the fuel pump to prime up, it then started up and then he could ride and go and get fuel. So I believe the fuel gauge was accurate. It was showing 12 miles of range left in the tank, and I believe he actually had 12 miles of range left in the tank. Now, if you do find yourself in a position where you try to start the bike on the side stand with a very low fuel tank and it hasn't started, power it off, stand the bike back upright, and then power it back on again and start the motorcycle. Now, it may take a little longer to start because it's got to prime the fuel pump again, but it will start. Okay, I hope you found this video useful. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye for now.